Hey everybody, Mark Herman, aka LA Bengals fan on most of the major platforms, and I'm joined here with Heath Goldman, Jake Circus, and Devin Circus. And since this is the Week 16 Jungle Talk recap, yeah, who you go? And everybody, and Drake's anybody? Am I the only one?
I
There
have
we
my
go. We got two. Ready? And hey, cheers to the win. It's a W. I don't like to be negative, Nelly, but if we were playing anybody else today, we would not have won the game. I mean, there was that disjointed a game, but we'll get into it. Jake, tell them where they can find all your stuff before we get going.
Jake Circus podcast. There'll be an episode up tonight, probably tomorrow morning. College football playoff, NFL. We got some good futures still alive. Good. It was a good day yesterday.
No, very good day yesterday. And if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. It's all we ask. Support the channel. So bang the bell so you know when our videos go up, and hit the thumbs up on the YouTube because that helps us out with the analytics. So this was a bizarre. I mean, the very first play from scrimmage, we give up that 66-yard run, and you're just like, oh great, I see they've got him ready to play today. And then we do make a defensive play at the goal line, but still you're just kind of, I mean, this is the third worst rushing team, and that's how you start out, by giving up that run. So, we start out with the what's
Jake
that?
Jake said it best. What'd you call it, Jake? Bengals, red zone, defense, voodoo, turnover magic is back.
Yes, but it came at the perfect time just for us to fuck up our draft position.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Where was this
Keep Zach Taylor and staff.
Yeah, where we needed this like a few games ago. So, well, I put here in my notes, I said, we, the Browns are the Browns. Then the Browns showed up. We have too many men on the field. We get the ball back. We have too many men on the field. And then the Browns are the Browns. We just march down 99 yards and score. But this team, the middle eight, they were horrible. I mean, no points in the third quarter. We were gifted a lot of turnovers. I mean, like I said, if this had been any other team, we don't win this game. We only beat the Browns the way we played today, especially in the second half. Not
Especially in,
impressive.
especially in the second half. To answer with a 99-yard touchdown drive right out of the gate was great. I loved the drawing them offsides, take a chance, even if you commit a false start. You're backed up inches, get out under the shadow of the goalpost. They march down the field. We're up 17 up. The first half was great. I mean, first half was, well, let's say very solid. Again, to your point, Mark, we weren't playing an NFL team.
No.
We were not playing a NFL. They did not have an NFL quarterback. But we're up 17-0 at halftime. A couple of dicey Zach Taylor decisions on fourth down. But yeah, the third quarter was abysmal. Fourth quarter, asleep. And I know I'm jumping ahead. The third and goal cute play where Burrow fumbled was terrible. Horrible play call. Too cute. Either run the ball or just throw a fade to Jamar, or run a slant with Gesicki, because T was not. And now I'm really jumping all over the place. T never came back into the game, obviously, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. He came back in. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I missed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a terrible play call. And to your point, we won a game against a really bad team. At one point, our tackles were Devin Cochran and Cody Ford,
Right?
Our abysmal guards, and we won a game against a bad team. Cool.
Yeah. Well, I saw Mims come out of the tent, and he still had his helmet on his head. It was pulled back, and he was in kind of a heated conversation with Zach, but he still had possession of his helmet. So it's not a concussion, and he could come back into the game. But I mean, there were flashes. Hilton had some amazing blitzes today. He really had his timing down on the blitz.
I understand that they really didn't test us down the field, but you never heard CTB's name, nor did you ever hear Newton's name. Now, I understand that we had put pressure, the quarterback was never throwing, but you don't hear your quarterback's names at all during the game. You did your job at least.
So, yeah, Battle got the interception in the end zone and decided, he started thinking about coming out, and then finally just sat down and took the ball at the 20. But just
Hang on. hang on, Mark. I'm sorry. I thought you were done. I didn't mean to totally cut you
No,
off.
go for it.
To Heath's point, they completed 4 passes to wide receivers for a total of 41 yards. Again, we're talking about it's not even a D1 quarterback. Guy
Right.
was lucky to be on the field on a bad UCLA team, but 4 passes to two wide receivers, excuse me, five. Yeah, no, I'm right. Um, seven more to running backs and 9 to tight ends, and all of that was in the second half. Not to make a bad analogy, but it's an appropriate analogy this weekend. Everybody knocking Indiana being in the playoff. Hey, they beat the teams that they were put on their schedule.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? They did their job against the bad team. Got some turnovers. Geno Stone, third game in a row with an interception. He has looked better. We've talked about it for several weeks. He's very, very cheap. I think he's very much solidified that he'll be back as a safety next year.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. No, it's like I said, it was just one of those. It was hard to get excited about the game because, especially in the second half, because you're just like, this play's not going to beat Denver next week. Not going to beat the Steelers, even if they're resting people. I mean, it was just sloppy. Sometimes Burrow needs to just concede the play. Like when on the play where he fumbled. I mean, he's like trying to zigzag, and it's just like we had the ball at the 1 yard line.
Yeah, for sure. It was
Well,
one of
that
the things
wasn't
that
on
was,
Burrow. I mean,
Yeah, but I was
Burrow
gonna. Sorry,
fumbled,
Jake.
but that
Go
wasn't
ahead.
on Burrow. But Burrow fumbled. Not ideal, but he was running backwards. I mean, yeah, he could have fell down, but I mean, the play completely blew up in his face. I
well,
mean,
I think that's Mark's point though, Jake, is just take it at the 6 as opposed to fumbling it at the 12.
Yeah,
But
but
I'm going to counter that.
but for every
I'm going to counter that. How often does he make hero plays where you look at
exactly.
whoever you're watching the game with and be like, holy shit, how did he do that? He had 2 today, one
Here,
of which for a touchdown.
Right.
There's a picture of him throwing the ball with that knee this far off the ground. That's going to be, where I'm over dramatizing it because I'm
There
a
you go.
Bengal. That's going to be an iconic picture. The other one where he pretty much threw it over his head to either Sample or Hudson.
Sample, but
I mean,
Yeah.
give
It was
guy a chance
Sample. It
to
was
make a
Sample.
real play.
but
You
here's
take
the
the good with
difference.
the bad.
One's going backwards, 2 are going forwards.
So no, but I
The
understand what he's
difference
saying.
is those plays.
If
I
he
mean,
doesn't stretch the play out, we don't get those plays. And
Correct.
that's what he's trying to do when he's running backwards.
I
I
will
just don't
take
like
a
the running
fumble.
backwards with the ball out like a loaf of bread.
I will take a fumble up 11 with 6 minutes left in a game in exchange for all the heroic third and 8 first down conversions he has in a tie game or down 3 or up 7.
All right, point well
Take
taken.
that trade-off.
Good point. So that's it. But we'll see. We were talking about this, just started to talk about it before we started recording, but the chances our chances are still extremely slim. We need the
still have them.
Steelers. We need the Steelers to win on Christmas Day, and so the Chiefs have something to play for at the last week of the season. But that still doesn't get us a loss from Indy, or Miami. So Miami, just the way they're playing, more likely to give us one. But Indianapolis, I mean, do we see them losing? Jake, do you see them losing the next 2 games?
I mean, look, Jim Irsay teams do some weird stuff at the end of the years. Their loss to the Raiders a few years ago in playoff contention is still one of the worst chokes in my lifetime of watching football. They needed to beat the Raiders to make the playoffs, and they didn't. That was the Carson Wentz team. The Flacco team had a chance to make the playoffs. They have had some pretty historic chokes at the end of years, to end up missing the playoffs. And oh no, it was it was the Wentz team in 2021. But I don't know. Maybe the Jags will give us one, but I think there's a better chance that the Carson Wentz Chiefs beat the Broncos last week of the season than the Colts lose another game this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but we
One
need them
thing
both, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The
it's
one
not
thing I'll
gonna.
throw out there, looking at the schedule, they're at New York next. They're at the Giants. I think Jake, we thought that was in Indy. It's at New York. Maybe we get lucky with weather. The Giants are abysmally dreadful against the run. Maybe we get rain. Maybe we get sloppy weather, and they can't run the ball. Remember, this is still an Anthony Richardson led team where you could
Right.
get an stinker, but Drew Lock cannot score. He's worse than DTR, to be honest. I watched some of that game.
Yeah.
I think we need to see Tommy DeVito or even what the hell is his name? Tim Blow? Tim Blau?
Tim Boyle. They'll have the Giants will have a chance if it's DeVito. I can't believe I'm saying that, but the Giants will have a chance if it's DeVito.
Yeah. Well,
I think it was concussion. I don't remember.
yeah, it's no, the Giants are horrible at home.
The fact that we are sitting here having this conversation, though, after what we talked about 4 weeks ago, is still amazing to me that we even have a hint of being potential.
They haven't beaten anybody. But we knew the whole time this was the schedule. They needed to beat one competent team, and we wouldn't be even needing to have this conversation. So
no, I'm not disagreeing with that.
I don't want to. Right, like I know people in the comments sometimes get mad at us for saying how it is, but like no, this is still a failure of the season, even if they do win for whatever it is, five straight to end the year against corpses. I mean, look, if they get a field goal win against Denver next week, great. But Denver's not a real team. I don't care. They haven't beaten anybody. Like I don't care about Denver's record. Denver is on the brink of one of those crazy historic playoff collapses if they end up losing to us and then the Chiefs and the Colts sneak in. Denver's not a real team. That's not a great win.
Denver is a mirror image of us, except they haven't beaten a quality team. Okay, so they're a mirror image of us that way, but they have a better defense and their offense is suspect.
Yeah,
we have the good offense, but our defense is suspect. So if we combined our teams, we actually would have a decent playoff team.
Yeah, that's no shot at Denver at all. I mean,
no, not at all.
Look, they've been on the good end of a couple of coin flips, but they have defensive players that have made plays. They are a way better coach team than the Bengals. They are way better defensively than the Bengals, and they have a quarterback who makes easy throws and they score enough points offensively, despite the lack of explosiveness on offense. So, but no, they're not a real team. It's not a game where if the Bengals win, it's like, oh, the season say this is a successful season considering how bad they started. No, this is a failure top to bottom the whole year. It's embarrassing. No matter what happens next week and in week 18.
So, and with each win, we move farther back in the draft order. But that is what it is. That's
and the other part of it, and probably more of a preview show. We can save it for Thursday, but it's time to start talking about. I know what the four of us think, but it's time to start talking about how many more wins does this team get before there's no chance of any changes in the coaching staff. And I think we're dangerously close, if not already there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that was my biggest fear. Remember back 3 or 4 weeks ago, I said we went out, missed the playoffs, and we saved Zach's job. That's
not going anywhere.
Well, or we give the Browns and the Blackburns the illusion that everything's fine. Oh, look, we won the last 5 games of the year. We don't have to do a whole lot. We're on the brink, but we're not on the brink. There's a lot of holes on this team.
They're not going to fire Zach because of how good the offense looks. The offense looks so good. There's no reason that there's no way they fire Zach.
Then if you're going to make that comment, Jake, then we got to go back to what we've been talking about for weeks. Then you've got to keep the team that's scoring those points together, because you're surely not telling me that Zach Taylor's an elite play caller. You're telling me he's got an elite offense. Okay, great. Then you've got to keep this team together.
100%.
You can't. It has to be.
100%. There's no excuse to let T. Higgins walk. There's no reason to let T. Higgins walk. Yeah, I mean that's a great way to put it and think about it. If you're going to keep Zach Taylor, who objectively has made countless decisions to lose football games, not just this year but the last 4 years, then if you're going to keep him because of how good his offense looks, you got to keep the other reasons why that offense looks good. Because I promise you, if T. Higgins walks, it doesn't matter how good of an offensive mind Zach Taylor is, the offense will get a lot worse.
Yeah, 100%. The stats show it this year. We average 2 yards more per play when T's playing the game. It's that simple. I mean, it's literally 2 yards more per play.
The thing that scares me also about this conversation is that go ahead and bring Zach Taylor. If they bring Zach Taylor back, they let T walk, thinking that number 80 is ready to step into T's shoes.
Nah.
I love number 80 at the 3 spot. He's really not ready to step into to number 2.
He's not a number 2.
Well, Heath, you just made two really good points in a row. We got to do something like highlight this or mark this or
No,
flag
there
it.
was a comment a week ago that said, "Hey, what's up with Heath? He actually said some really good stuff this week." So there was, and here we go again. You're going to get that same comment this week,
All
brothers.
right, then I'm gonna go two more.
Yo,
I'm gonna go
yo,
two more and blow Devin's mind right here.
wait. I just want to emphasize what you just said. Yoshavash is really blossoming into the Tyler Boyd. Ideal at the three. Love having him. He'll make key plays. He'll be there when you need him because he's consistent and dependable.
Yes.
Play and the last drive was a beautiful play.
Yes.
For the Burrow fumble, second to last drive.
Right.
But as soon as somebody gets hurt and you need him to be the two, it's not going to happen.
No, he doesn't. Listen, he doesn't have the physical skill set that Higgins has. He just doesn't.
Right.
So you can't ask him to do something he's not capable of doing.
I will say one thing that and then I want to go to my kudos, which Devin's going to appreciate my kudos.
Can't wait.
We've talked about weeks ago. Mark said at least now we'll start to get to see some of these younger players see what we really have. Well, the problem with that is that we've been still competitive. I mean, we're competing enough to have a sniff at the playoffs. There's two players that I really want Jake's opinion. I talk about Myles Murphy every week, and then I'm going to mention three. Myles Murphy I talk about every week. Burton still I don't understand it, and then I'd really love to know what your opinion is of Chris Jenkins. I mean, I know he's
where the first and the third are more Jake questions. Where do you want Burton to play? We don't go four wide enough, and we have Mike Gesicki. What do you want Burton to do?
I mean, at the third spot, I mean, just to get.
So you're sitting Yoshi. You just said.
I understand that.
You're not. You're playing to win the game.
Well, that's what I said. You're not getting a chance to see what he has a chance.
Well, hang on. I mean, look, he's a third round wide receiver. The Bengals rarely even have three receivers out there, let alone four, and they have T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. So it makes a lot of sense why he doesn't. I mean, he's not playing as much as Ladd McConkey or Brian Thomas Jr. or, even Jordan Whittington on the Rams, who was also a third or fourth or fifth round pick.
A little later, but yeah.
Maybe they took him expecting that they were going to be a 12 win team this year with a good defense and maybe being okay letting T walk. You change the plans. I mean, it's not like it wasn't a crazy high value of a pick. But what I'm more worried about is if they let T walk because of Burton, not Yoshi.
Yeah, no. Listen, we made that mistake letting Whitworth walk, thinking we had our Guahe and Fisher, and we didn't need Whitworth anymore. And all he did was give the Rams a top-notch offensive line, win a Super Bowl, and we dismissed the fact of the locker room presence that Whit brought to this team. So we cannot let T. Higgins go. Burrow wants him there. Chase wants him there. He needs to stay. And where else are we going to spend the money? You have to keep T. To me, it's not even an option. You're going to have a fan base that's going to revolt if they don't get contracts for T and Chase in the offseason.
And to answer the next question, so PFF has a stat called they do their pass rush win rate percentage. Anything really over 12% is pretty good. You want to have like four pass rushers in the double digits to have a respectable pass rush unit. Trey Hendrickson obviously leads the team this year. He's upwards of 18-20%. I think he's second in the league. He did his thing today. 6 pressures, led the team at a sack. Myles Murphy was number 1 on the team today in win rate. Chris Jenkins was third, and Chris Jenkins had those 2 sacks as well.
I never heard Murphy's name. Good. I'm glad.
Well, so that's relative to our team having a bad D line as it compares to the league. How do they score? Does it not track like that?
What do you mean?
So if you're the best on a god awful defensive line, it doesn't necessarily mean anything. Does that stat you're talking about measure against the league, or is it just measure who was best on that team today?
Oh no, it's all relative. He had 18.2%. That's around where Hendrickson is for the league for the season.
Oh, okay.
So it's like if you heard of ESPN's pass rush win rate that they just advertise like crazy, it doesn't mean anything because they actually have a chip that tracks players. So you get a win if you get off of your block at any point during the play because of the chip that they have installed in the players. So the quarterback can throw the ball, but if you get off your block at the same time, you get given a pass rush win. So, and same thing with offensive line. You get a win if it's like a second throw. So PFF, they actually chart it. So they give you a win if you won your rep instead of just getting off of your block at any point during the play. So it's a little bit more of a real stat to use than ESPN's metric.
Good. I'm glad. Thank you. I will tell
And
you,
I
here's my
know-
kudos though.
Wait. I know we had that conversation, Heath. We had the same conversation after last week's game, and we didn't bring it back because snap counts don't come out for a day or two. Murphy had a 43% snap count last week. Jake, you don't have anything that'll already have snap counts on today, will you?
Yeah, I do. He
Wow.
he
Okay.
he was in it. I mean, he played less than Osai, but he was the clear third edge. 25 pass rushing snaps. Osai had 36. Hendrickson had 37.
All right. Fine. Thank you.
They're all getting about 50%, 40 to 50%.
Yeah, I don't know percentage, but 23 is about probably where he should be right now for a three.
Because last
And
week, Miles had 30 snaps for a 43%, and Osai had 41 snaps for 59%, and Jenkins had 42 for 60% last week.
Yeah,
Oh, maybe we've got to start
34
something on the D line.
34 total today. That's tied for the most he's had all year.
But let's not lose sight of the fact that we need to pay Trey. That guy today, there was a play where DTR was scrambling away from Trey's side of the field,
He made the
and
tackle.
Hendrickson actually made the tackle
On
at
the
the
sideline.
other end of the field, fought through all the traffic. So, he was double teamed right off the play. I mean, that guy's got a motor that's unbelievable. We absolutely, and if he's off the team, neither one of these guys has a skill set to step in and replace him. So
But he's not a free agent.
he's not a free agent, but we need to keep him happy. We need to extend him. He's one of the three guys we have to pay in the offseason. We have to pay Trey, we have to pay T, we have to pay Chase. It's literally that simple.
I hate to say because I absolutely love him. He's been a warrior, like Devin said last week. But having somebody else on that edge, on that right edge, with Trey coming off the left, because Hubbard's done nothing all year. Unfortunately, at least we've got, at least we had two people coming at a quarterback today, and you saw the difference in every play was a scramble for the most part from DTR.
Mm-hmm. So, well, we'll see what happens. Did you catch the point that they said the last team that had the number one passer and the number one wide receiver that didn't make the postseason? The 82 Chargers. Fouts and West Chandler.
I would have said Chargers, but I would have guessed one of Phillip Rivers' Chargers.
No, it was West Chandler and Fouts. The 82 Chargers were the last team to have the number one passer, the number one receiver, and Chase is far ahead in all three categories.
I'm gonna ask a question. I'd love to hear Jake's opinion, especially. Then I'll give you my kudos for the day. At one point, the announcers were talking about Burrow's antics with Taylor on the sidelines last week, and that it needs to quiet down and minimize it. And I'm thinking to myself, who the hell did it need to calm down? I mean, who wants it quiet? It's not the fans, maybe the coaching staff, maybe the inner office. Shit, he needs to open his mouth, and I hope he does it publicly after the season. But are you hearing anything behind the scenes in terms of that big of an issue between him and the staff?
No, I fucking hope there's an issue.
Yeah,
I agree with you, Jake. I said the same thing to Riley. What'd you say, Devin?
No, I was just gonna say we talked about the other day. I don't remember if you were on which show it was, but I want Burrow doing that, and Zach can be the happy-go-lucky optimist and Burrow can be the realist. And look, if Zach Taylor wants to stay employed, Burrow's gonna call the shots.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Who Burrow's going to be, and he's not going to change because of Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor's going to have to change because of Joe Burrow, or adapt and accept,
or get the fuck out of town.
You still have to remember who owns this team, though. I mean, he's notorious for making the dumbest decisions in almost all of football.
Right, but he's given Joe Burrow $45 million a year. He doesn't have a choice.
Right.
Yeah.
Burrow runs.
Kudos after missing an easy chip shot wide right. Kudos to York for kicking a 59er at the end of the second half. I mean, end of the second quarter. Yeah, and that was a bit. Looking back at the score, that was a big 3 points.
Oh yeah, well think about it. We get that last touchdown because of the free play after the Bengals got the ball back, but otherwise it's a 17-6 game. I mean, like I said, that's what's so depressing about watching the second half of this game was
Well,
just I mean that's the only points we put on the board was a gift in the last 2 minutes.
candidly, it could have been a 14-13 game at that point. We miss a 59-yard field goal, and they don't get the hold when DTR goes into the end zone. That game's we're all sweat.
Yeah. No question. Agreed. But you know what? And I'm gonna give Zach Taylor kudos just for the way he handled the last minute of the half because he let the clock when we realized we weren't going to get the first down, he let the clock run down and made it so either we made the field goal or that was the end of the half.
So they
We
had
didn't give them the ball at midfield. So
Should have called timeout on the sack with.
oh yeah, no. I said the last 30 seconds. He
Okay.
did his typical Zach Taylor shit, in the minute prior to that. But in the last seconds, he kind of pulled a rabbit out of his what, by doing that and at least giving us that opportunity, and then he made it. But I would trade that field goal for a McPherson kick that Heath and I were at the Charger game. We had 2 shots of winning that game right there and didn't get it. So. And the announcer said something about all the problems we've had. At least we got a win, but I said that's like a small win compared to the other losses. The flubbed hold. I mean, we can go over and over it again. It's
at one
Not
point
your head.
at one point there was a stat. The Chiefs are 11-1 in one score games this year. Bengals 2-7.
yeah. Oh, that's coaching.
They don't do dumb shit.
Yeah. No, it's you just shake your head. So all right, so you got your kudos in.
Craig York. I mean, you got a 59-yard field goal.
Oh, 100%.
To a
Career long.
journeyman.
Career long was 58. So, and what's the best part about that? He was the Browns kicker. Their kicker missed the PAT. It's like they let Cade walk a while ago, and they're still trying to find a kicker. So just kind of that's that little bit of extra juice when Cade's at the ball, right? Thinking I would love to put this in against my former team. So, but all right. And then in reference to college football, I just want, first of all, kudos out to the Ohio State Buckeyes. I won a lot of money on the game yesterday, but they're obviously going to be tweaking how they put these teams in. I'm not saying Indiana didn't deserve to be there. I'm not saying SMU did, but in watching this last weekend's games, maybe we should have just had 8 teams make the extended playoff. I mean, it wasn't, they weren't even competitive games. So I don't know if they need to look at things. We're going to see how it plays out. Like it's the first year, so it's a learning process. There'll be changes.
All right, so, while you're on to college football, I'm putting it out there. I need a bunch of tickets for the Rose Bowl. So if anybody's got any connections, I'm happy to pay for them. But I'm not paying secondary prices for 6, and I need 6 right now.
Yeah, that's a lot of tickets. So
How high is it? Have you already looked?
It was $400 to get in the door, which is not that bad if you in the grand scheme of things.
no,
I don't know what it's going to get.
That's really, you're talking top couple rows behind the goalpost.
I didn't look. Sid was looking.
no, it has to be that. I would figure decent seats, even just at the 10 or the 20-yard line at the Rose Bowl, are over $1,000. That would be my guess.
Yeah, for Ohio State, yeah.
It'll
But
drop.
I've got my mom, my dad, my sister, her husband, the kids are home. I mean, everybody says they want to go. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh,
Who ends up there.
maybe-
How many are on Uncle Heath's tab? All of them?
It depends on how many, how much the tickets are. Which is why I'm calling in favors on this show and see if anybody's got them back in Ohio.
So
I don't, because I will tell you there was a lot of orange in that stadium yesterday. That was pretty scary.
well, it'll be pretty good at the Rose Bowl. So
It wasn't because of these Vols. The Ohio State pre-sale code got leaked. Someone leaked their pre-sale code, and Vols fans pounced on it.
Wait, is that
I
what
didn't hear
happened?
that.
I never
Yes.
wow.
I heard this.
What a blunder.
Why else do you think every other stadium was a real home field advantage, and Ohio State played at a neutral site? Someone leaked their pre-sale code.
That was somebody who wants Ryan Day to be replaced and figured that if they had a bunch of Tennessee fans in there, maybe they got a shot.
Yeah, well,
I will take it. Took the sting off of 3 weeks ago a little bit.
100%. And you know what? You sent volunteer fans on a 5-hour somber drive back to Tennessee.
Yeah, they went on a
So
wild
all those
goose
guys
chase.
that spent all that money and got there, that was a long ride home.
They
So,
owned game day that day, Saturday.
no. It was the game, like I said, from a money-making perspective, the overs hit on all the games and all the home teams won. So, I mean, gambling-wise, it was kind of low-hanging fruit, I felt.
All right. So while I've got my little buddy home, that's the reason I got a couple nuggets, Devin. I got somebody to talk to during the game, and we can strategize versus have to watch the damn games by myself. What are we doing for the pregame show? Did we figure that out yet?
Well, we're going to do it Thursday morning.
I'm traveling. I'm going to be TBA.
We could do this off the show.
Yeah, we'll do it after. We'll schedule it. But we're going to be doing a preview. So once again, if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. It's all we ask. We do these shows right after the game for you guys. Just support the channel. It's all we ask. Bang the bell. Hit the thumbs up. And Jake, you do some amazing podcasts. Tell them where they can find your stuff again.
Yeah, Jake Circus podcast on Spotify. We'll have a good one tonight going over CFP. Some of the futures that we still got going on.
So, root hard for the hopefully we get here. I waited for the end of the show. I didn't want to wear this the whole show, but I waited for the end. So, Christmas miracle, right? Steelers beat the Chiefs to make the Chiefs have to play, and then obviously we're going to need some more help, with the Colts or
the other part of it we haven't even talked about is we really needed Baltimore or Pittsburgh to win yesterday, because then Pittsburgh wouldn't have cared about Week 18.
Right. So, well, we have
Moving on.
at least
That's not true.
So Pittsburgh, listen, Pittsburgh's gonna play hard against us regardless in Week 18. We're gonna have to win that game. We're gonna have to go out there and play. We have to win our two, but like I said, it keeps the momentum going if the Pittsburgh can win on Christmas Day. So here, enjoy the rest of your day. We will have a Merry Christmas, safe, happy holiday, happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah starts that night too. And we will be back with the preview coming up this week. And I'm going to say, hoo day, everybody.
Hoo day.